boy. Today's gonna be a long day. Oh boy. Oh boy. Listen, there's no telling what this shot looks like. Probably like half of me in the back of the frame, but I broke my tripod. So like today, like just now I broke it. So you're probably wondering about that title. I'm saying that now, but I really don't know what I'm gonna call it till later. So right now you have a little bit more information than I do. Aliens. Aliens are like the secret ticket to instant interest. As soon as you say aliens, people's ears perk up. They're like, UFOs? Little green people? Martians? I'll tell you what though, they are some fascinating things. Like the stories of them anyway. Gotta preface this with, I have not personally had any experience with aliens. But I do know people that have. And I have theories about all of these. So here's the deal. Here is the dealio. The Bible doesn't talk a whole lot about aliens. It talks about, these other worldly creatures, as in aliens, and it doesn't talk about aliens. It talks about angels, what I meant to say. Demons, a lot of those other worldly beings, the spiritual beings, pretty much. It really doesn't talk about them too much, so I can only speculate a little bit what they are, where they are, all those things. So here's some theory. One, there's definitely something going on. Even last year? I don't remember what branch of the government it was. A couple of people from mostly military backgrounds. I hope this camera's in the shot. I hope I'm in the shot. So these people with military backgrounds, pretty credible / reliable witnesses, were testifying to what they've seen in our government, inside the branches that they were at. So they're testifying. They've got some pretty interesting stories. I don't know if you've seen them all, but I watched the entire 3-hour conference, or court case, or a hearing, pretty much I think is what it was. Probably sounding pretty incredible right now. There's all kinds of accounts of people seeing things, hearing things, all kinds of these things. There's TV shows, movies, documentaries, evidence you can even see on YouTube if you just pull up all those videos, and it's super interesting. To me, as like a big fan of just hearing all the conspiracies that are out there, and what people think and why, and it's like my favorite rabbit hole. And like I said, I had some friends that had some personal experience. I've been able to talk with them about all of that. So I'm going to propose a bit of a theory here. I have to admit, this theory is not entirely my own. There was a man who had also done much research on the subject. I don't know how credible any of this is, but again, this is just as credible as anything else, so, well, sort of. So this man, I don't know his name, and it's been a while since I've actually seen anything he's talked about, but his theory was that everyone who had experienced quote-unquote abductions, alien encounters, UFO encounters, like those three, were people who had also in the past had experience with some form of the occult. I know, hold on, bear with me here, it's getting kind of heavy. This guy came from a Christian background and had linked through a lot of evidence. I don't remember how many years and all these things. It seems like he reached out to these people and then was able to get that information on things they've done. Now I can say with the two witnesses that I know that will also not be named have also had connections with the occult. Connections as in messed around with the occult, basically. Culty people. Nice people, just I think doing some wrong stuff. So my theory is, kind of based off this other theory, is that there are those even in the high government, or at least what we see of the government, who say we've got spaceship parts, or we have bodies, or we have all these things. So my theory would be that we have, as a nation, or at least people within a nation, mess with the occult when we definitely shouldn't have. Because this man's theory was that, and biblically, you start messing with the occult, there's usually not a lot of good things that come from that. In fact, depending on who you believe, how you believe, you're introducing a whole lot of evil, whether it be just bad influence, potentially demonic influence, and a whole other world of things. So potentially, I'm just going to throw this out there, some of those aliens could be demons, and that's kind of a bold statement. Again, here I'm talking freely, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Again, this is not entirely my theory, this is another man's theory. I will not take his credit. It's kind of a heavy video though. Heavy little talk. So here's the thing. At some point, the rubber will hit the road. At some point, real truth is revealed. It happens all the time. It doesn't matter what it is. Eventually the truth gets out. You know this. I'm not bringing up something new here. It's happened in your own life. Just think about your experiences. At some point, the truth comes out. We know that. And we could be reasonably sure that there is definitely something going on with the idea of UFOs and aliens and people seeing things. There are lots and lots of accounts. In fact, the government has made a sector to look into things like this. Okay, so we cannot discount it entirely. Those two things, I think we could rest our hats on fairly confidently. Now, here's where the rubber hits the road. This is where it actually involves yourself, and again, an entire portion of you are going to disagree with me and probably hate me for saying this, but I believe Jesus will return one day. I believe it's very clear in the Bible, and it's probably sooner rather than later, just based off of the world, but again, nobody knows. And here's where it applies to you. And I've thought about this before, if you're seeing this, if this is still up later, and a significant portion of people have disappeared, okay, raptured, and the government claims that aliens have abducted us all, let my voice be at least one opinion where maybe we were raptured and they're using the aliens as a cover-up. This is probably the most controversial, conspiratorial I could possibly make this video. I don't think it gets much deeper than this. I'm sure it can, and I accept that challenge. But I'm just thinking here off the cuff. Try not to just completely discount me for what I'm saying. If you agree with certain points, don't agree with certain points, that's fine. You can definitely have your own opinion. I have my own opinion, so you can have your own opinion. But I would challenge you to think about some of those points. Think about some of them, and if nothing else, you've gotten to watch myself steer around a topic that would be controversial and kind of awkward. So it's okay though. I like awkward. I'll lean into awkward. So I don't really know how to sum this up other than man, you gotta, I know, I could do and we'll always keep our eyes to the skies. Never mind.